Folks, just leading up to the Democrat National Convention, 25 people were shot, including 6 that were killed over the last weekend. Officials said the age range of the victims, 16 years old to 59 years old. First shooting happened Friday night. The violence lasted all through Sunday morning. And on night 2 of the DNC alone, 12 people were shot in Chicago. Democrats pro-crime America. For more, let's bring in the president of the Crime Prevention Center, Research Center, Dr. John Lott. We also have the author of Good Gun, Bad Guy and host of the Loaded Mic Show, Dan Woes. Welcome to you guys. First off, we shouldn't just pick on Chicago here. Wherever Soros-backed Democrats are in charge, those Democrats work to coddle criminals and remove Americans' right of self-defense. John, you first, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a collapse in law enforcement over the last few years in the United States. Arrest rates for violent crime in major cities has gone down by 50%. And the same individuals who want to make it difficult for law enforcement to go and do its job also want to make it so that citizens can't go and protect themselves at the same time.
Yeah, Dan, what's your take on all of this?
Chris, thanks for having me on the show, and it was good seeing you the other night. You know what happens here is the Democrats are creating a victim-predator society. I mean, what better way to keep people under control than to make them vulnerable, unarmed, and helpless? And this is what they've been doing for decades. So it's that people are easier to control when they are vulnerable and when they need to run to the open arms of the government who's going to protect them. Crime in Chicago, when we talk about crime in the country, Chicago always comes up because the violent killers and criminals and gang members are running around with guns because they pay no attention to the laws, while the law-abiding citizens, they don't want to break the law, so they're unarmed, helpless, and defenseless. It's a terrible combination, but I think it's what the Democrats really want.
True. Well, then there are the facts that are challenging the Democrat claims that crime is going down after reaching historic highs under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. John, your organization, the Crime Prevention Research Center, is revealing that crime isn't just going down, but reporting of crimes is going down. Explain the difference there.
All right, there are two sets of numbers. There's the FBI data, which the Democrats and the media want to point to, which counts the number of crimes that are reported to police across the country. And then there's the Bureau of Justice Statistics has what's called the National Crime Victimization Data, which gets at total crime, reported and unreported. We know most crimes aren't reported to police, and they have a truly massive survey of 240,000 people that they do each year. And before 2020, these two sets of numbers went up and down generally together. But since 2020, they've been going in opposite directions. And part of it is just due to the fact that people have lost confidence in the legal system being able to punish criminals. And so they're less likely to go and report crimes to police. If you look at 2022, for example, while the FBI showed a 2% drop in reported crimes, the National Crime Victimization Data showed a 42% increase in violent crimes that year alone.
Thank you.
The crime went down under Trump and went up under Biden.
Well, Dan, the Democrats' promotion of lawlessness, their defund the police movement, and the attacks on the law-abiding appear to be quashing the reporting of crimes. I think we're seeing that play out, don't you?
Yeah, well, here's an example. When Kathy Hochul was appointed governor in the state of New York, one of the first things she did was let 191 people out of Rikers Island. Why would you do that if you didn't want to create a scenario where you made New Yorkers, and we're talking about Chicago, but any Democrat-run city, when you're making people vulnerable, that's the only reason I can see. And, Democrats always want this type of scenario because I think it helps them because it makes people dependent. Remember the virus. I mean, people were so scared. If you can make people scared with violence and you can do it with a virus. Remember, people were walking down the aisle following arrows like kindergartners in the grocery store, adults, because they were so scared and they didn't have the right data. So you can make scared people do just about anything.
True, it's true, and I think there is very much a fear component in all of this. Dr. John Lott and Dan Wass, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate the time. Coming up, the final night of DNC, and Kamala Harris is set to accept her crown from Democrat Party elites. We go back to Chicago next on Newsmax.